What if everything you thought about wealth was wrong? What if the richest people in the world, the ones with access to everything, actually live simpler lives than you? You've been told that money buys happiness, that the more you have, the better life becomes. You see billionaires, celebrities, and influencers showcasing extravagant mansions, luxury cars, private jets, and endless consumption. And yet, when you look closely at those who have reached the peak of financial success, a strange pattern emerges. The richest, the wisest, the ones who have truly made it, they live with less. They wear the same clothes every day. They eat the same meals. They don't chase luxury the way people think they do. Why? What do they know that the rest of the world doesn't? The truth is, wealth doesn't work the way you think it does. Most people imagine wealth as an infinite supply of pleasure, a life where every desire is instantly fulfilled. But that's not how the human mind works. When you get what you want, you don't stop wanting. You just start wanting something else. You upgrade your desires. The first time you fly first class, it feels incredible. The second time, it's expected. The third time, it's normal. By the 10th time, you don't even think about it. And then you start looking at private jets because the thrill is gone. This is the trap of luxury. It never ends. The more you have, the more you need just to feel the same level of satisfaction.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
But here's where things get interesting. The people who have truly mastered wealth understand this. They know that the key to happiness isn't endless consumption, but learning to find joy in the simplest things. That's why the richest people, those who have already experienced everything, often live more minimally than those who are still chasing wealth. Because they've figured out the secret. True wealth isn't about having more, it's about needing less. Think about the wealthiest, most successful people in history. Steve Jobs wore the same black turtleneck every day. Mark Zuckerberg wears the same gray t-shirt. Warren Buffett lives in the same modest house he bought in the 1950s. These aren't coincidences. These are people who have realized that real wealth isn't about filling your life with more. It's about removing the distractions that don't actually make you happy. When you understand this, everything changes. But here's the part that most people don't want to hear. If you're still chasing wealth, if you think money will solve all your problems, you're still trapped. Because you're still looking for happiness in something external. The truth is, the richest people don't live minimally because they have to. They do it because they've already tasted everything, and they've realized that the simple things, the things available to everyone, are actually the most valuable. Eating a good meal, a deep conversation, a quiet moment of peace. These things are priceless, yet they cost nothing. So why does society convince you that you need more? Why does the world push you to consume, upgrade, and chase luxury? Because the system doesn't work if you don't. The economy is built on desire. If people stopped wanting more, if they realized they could be happy with less, billions of dollars in advertising, luxury goods, and status symbols would lose their power overnight. The world doesn't want you to be satisfied. It wants you to keep chasing. But the ones who break free, the ones who reach the top and see the game for what it is, they make a different choice. They stop playing. They stop chasing. And ironically, that's when they find real freedom. So the real question is, what are you chasing? Have you ever stopped to ask yourself why? If you had everything you ever wanted, would it actually make you happy? Or would you just find new things to want? Because if you don't solve this now, if you don't learn to appreciate the cheap pleasures, the simple joys, then no amount of money will ever be enough. The richest people live minimally not because they can't afford more, but because they've realized that more isn't the answer. And if you can realize that now, before you even reach that level, you've already won the game. Wealth is a paradox because the more you chase it, the more it controls you. People think that getting rich means freedom, but what they don't realize is that most people who chase money are trapped by it. They work harder, make more, spend more, upgrade their lifestyle, and then find themselves needing even more just to maintain the same feeling of success. This is why so many millionaires and even billionaires still feel like they don't have enough. They compare themselves to the next level up, and there's always a next level. It never ends. But the ones who understand the game, the ones who truly master wealth, they see through this illusion. They know that the only way to win is to stop playing. That's why the richest people in the world, the ones who have already had everything, often start living more simply. They realize that the real luxury isn't in owning more but in needing less. When you strip away the distractions, when you stop filling your life with things you don't need, what's left? That's the question most people never face because they're too busy chasing. They assume that happiness is just on the other side of the next goal, the next paycheck, the next purchase, but it never is. The richest people live minimally because they've realized that happiness doesn't come from adding more, it comes from removing what doesn't matter. Think about the last time you bought something expensive. Maybe it was a car, a watch, a piece of technology. How long did the excitement last? A day, a week, a month at most. And then what happened? It became normal. You stopped noticing it. The thrill disappeared. And then you started looking for the next thing to buy. This is the cycle that keeps people trapped. They think they're chasing happiness, but they're really just distracting themselves from the fact that happiness was never in those things to begin with. The richest people understand this because they've already had it all. They've bought every luxury, traveled to every destination, experienced every thrill, and at the end of it, they've realized that nothing external can give them lasting fulfillment. That's why they simplify. That's why they focus on the things that actually matter. The ones who don't understand this, the ones who keep chasing, they end up lost. They accumulate more and more, but they never feel satisfied. They build bigger houses, buy more cars, surround themselves with more luxury, but inside they still feel empty because they never solved the real problem. They never realize that happiness isn't something you can buy. The world doesn't want you to know this because the entire system is built on keeping you chasing. If people stopped believing that happiness was in the next product, the next upgrade, the next luxury, the economy would collapse overnight. Companies spend billions convincing you that you need more, that you're missing something, that you're not enough as you are. But the ones who break free from this, the ones who see through it, they become untouchable. They stop needing external validation. They stop spending their lives working for things that don't matter. They take back control. And ironically, those are the people who end up truly wealthy. Because real wealth isn't about money. It's about freedom. It's about owning your time. It's about being able to wake up and do what you actually want, not what you have to do just to keep up with your lifestyle. The richest people live simply because they've realized that most things aren't worth the cost, not the financial cost, but the cost of their time, their energy, their peace of mind. Every new thing you own is another thing that owns you. Every luxury you add is another responsibility. Every upgrade comes with a hidden cost. The ones who understand this, they don't live like the world expects them to. They don't chase status. They don't fill their lives with unnecessary things. They focus on what actually matters. And the craziest part? The happiness they find in simplicity is available to everyone, whether you're rich or not. But most people don't see it because they're too busy chasing. They think happiness is complicated, but it's not. It's found in the simplest things. A good meal, a walk outside, a deep conversation, a quiet moment of peace. These are the things that bring real fulfillment, and they cost nothing. The richest people live minimally not because they have to, but because they've realized that more isn't the answer. And if you can understand that now, you've already won the game. Wealth is not what people think it is. Everyone believes that getting rich means unlimited freedom, luxury, and happiness, but the reality is far more complex. People chase money their entire lives, believing that once they have enough, they will finally feel at peace. But the truth is that most wealthy people come to a shocking realization: more does not equal better. The more they acquire, the more they find that their desires expand to fill the space. The first luxury car feels like an achievement, the second feels like a collection, the third feels like an expectation, and by the fifth or 10th, it barely registers as something special. The anticipation of pleasure is always greater than the pleasure itself, and this is where most people get trapped. They think they are working toward lasting happiness, but what they are really doing is feeding an endless cycle of desire. The richest people in the world, those who have seen the entire spectrum of wealth, often arrive at the same counterintuitive conclusion: that the secret to happiness is not in having more, but in needing less. This is why some of the wealthiest individuals live in ways that seem shockingly simple. Not because they can't afford extravagance, but because they have outgrown the illusion that material excess brings fulfillment. The world constantly reinforces the idea that happiness is just one more purchase away. But if that were true, the richest people would be the happiest, and yet, so many of them say that their greatest peace came when they simplified their lives. They reduced their wardrobe to a few essential pieces. They stopped chasing the latest trends. They focus on experiences rather than possessions. This is not self-denial or asceticism, it is clarity. They have seen the other side. They have tasted everything. And they have realized that true wealth is not in accumulation, but in freedom from unnecessary desires. Those who haven't reached this point yet are still caught in the trap. They work harder to earn more, to buy more, to feel more important, to impress people who are also trapped in the same cycle. And the saddest part? Most people don't realize they are trapped until it is too late. They spend their youth sacrificing time for money, only to realize in old age that time was the most valuable thing all along. The richest people live minimally because they have understood a fundamental truth. Every object, every luxury, every new acquisition is not just something you own, it is something that owns a piece of you. A bigger house means more maintenance, more cleaning, more security, more management. A fleet of cars means more worries about storage, insurance, depreciation. A collection of expensive watches means more stress about theft, loss, and value fluctuation. The more you have, the more your mind is occupied with maintaining what you have, and eventually, you reach a point where your possessions possess you. This is why those who have already acquired everything start moving in the opposite direction. They strip away the excess, they remove the distractions, they simplify their lives. Not because they are rejecting wealth, but because they are refining it. Real wealth is not about owning more things, it is about having control over your time, your energy, your mental space. The people who understand this early escape the endless cycle of accumulation and begin to experience a level of freedom that most will never know. But society does not want you to realize this. The economy depends on your dissatisfaction. If people were content with what they had, consumerism would collapse overnight. Every advertisement, every marketing campaign, every influencer showcasing a luxury lifestyle is designed to make you feel like you are missing something. They create artificial desires. They convince you that happiness is just one purchase away, and so you keep running on the treadmill, never questioning why the finish line keeps moving further. But the ones who break free, the ones who stop chasing, they experience a different kind of wealth, one that cannot be measured in money but in peace. They understand that true luxury is not in objects, but in the ability to wake up and do what you actually want to do. They recognize that the most valuable things in lifetime, health, relationships, personal freedom, are things that money can enhance but never replace. And this is where most people get it wrong. They think that money itself is the goal, but money is just a tool. It is useful only to the extent that it allows you to design a life that aligns with what actually matters to you. The problem is that most people never stop to define what truly matters. They chase a vague idea of success shaped by society without ever questioning whether that version of success is what they actually want. They accumulate wealth but never peace. They reach their financial goals but still feel empty, because they never did the deeper work of understanding what wealth is actually for. The richest people in the world who live simply have figured this out. They don't reject money, they reject the unnecessary burdens that come with mindless consumption. They don't deprive themselves, they optimize their lives for maximum fulfillment with minimal distraction. They don't live minimally because they have to, but because they have tasted the other side and realized that more is not the answer. And the irony is that the kind of happiness they find in simplicity is available to everyone, regardless of financial status. The greatest pleasures in life are often the cheapest: a meaningful conversation, a peaceful walk, a quiet moment of reflection, a deep sense of purpose. But most people overlook these things because they are too busy chasing illusions. They believe happiness is complicated when in reality, it has always been simple. The wealthiest people live minimally because they have realized that true success is not about accumulating more, but about needing less. And if you can understand that now, you will have achieved something that even many billionaires never do. Wealth is misunderstood because most people never stop to question what they are truly after. They assume money will bring happiness, but happiness is not something that can be purchased or collected like material possessions. The problem is not that people want money. The problem is that they don't realize why they want it. They believe that once they have enough, they will be free, but they don't define what freedom actually means to them. This is why so many people who become rich continue to chase more. They don't know how to stop. They set a financial goal, they reach it, and instead of feeling satisfied, they move the goalpost further. The $100,000 salary turns into a desire for $500,000, then $1 million, then $10 million, and it never ends. The cycle continues because money was never the real goal. It was just a means to an undefined end. But the richest people who live minimally have figured out something that most of the world overlooks. The finish line is not something you reach by accumulating more. It's something you create by deciding what is enough. Those who never define enough will spend their entire lives running towards something that keeps moving further away. This is why even billionaires can feel poor compared to other billionaires. Why people with more money than they could ever spend still feel unsatisfied. They are still trapped in the mindset of chasing instead of living. The ones who escape this trap are the ones who realize that real wealth is not in how much you have, but in how little you need to feel content. They understand that most of what people chase is not about true fulfillment, but about status, comparison, and external validation. They see that luxury is not about the price of an item, but about the feeling it gives you, and when you no longer need expensive things to feel valuable, you become free in a way that most people never will. This is why the richest people often simplify their lives. Not because they reject wealth, but because they have realized that peace is found in subtraction, not addition. Every unnecessary possession is a mental weight. Every extra obligation is a distraction. Every excessive luxury is another layer between them and what truly matters. They don't want to waste their energy managing things they don't need, maintaining an image they don't care about, or chasing desires that don't actually bring them happiness. They would rather focus on the things that truly enrich their lives: deep relationships, meaningful work, experiences that bring them joy, not because they are trying to be minimalist, but because they have realized that these are the only things that ever really mattered in the first place. The world doesn't want people to understand this because the economy is built on dissatisfaction. Companies need you to believe that you are incomplete without their product, that happiness is just one more purchase away, that success is measured by how much you own. They sell an endless cycle of desire, and people buy into it without realizing that they are being manipulated. The ones who break free from this illusion see money for what it really is: a tool, not a purpose. They use it to create a life that aligns with their values instead of using it to chase an illusion of happiness that will never be reached. They know that time is the only resource that truly matters because it is the only thing you can never get back. Every decision they make is based on one simple question: does this add value to my life, or does it take away from my freedom? This is why they don't waste energy on things that don't serve them. They don't buy into trends, they don't chase unnecessary luxuries, they don't live to impress people who don't matter. They focus on what truly brings them joy, and in doing so, they achieve a level of real wealth that money alone can never buy. Most people never reach this realization because they are too busy chasing. They don't stop to question whether the things they are working for are actually making them happy. They assume that more money, more possessions, more success will eventually fill the void, but the void is not external, it is internal. The richest people who live simply have realized that the only way to fill that void is not with more but with less. Not by adding distractions, but by removing everything that does not contribute to a meaningful life. They don't see minimalism as a sacrifice, but as an optimization. They don't feel deprived, they feel liberated. Because once you stop needing more to feel satisfied, you become truly free. And that is the kind of wealth that can never be taken away.